a lot of times when we do things that we know we're not supposed to be doing, or we do things that maybe we've already learned the lesson to, but we still just want to do them, we tend to be very secretive about it, or we operate in shame. So let's say, for instance, like you are dating somebody and you know they're fucking horrible, right? But you keep wanting to go back, right? And what tends to happen is you start to pull away from everybody that loves you, and you tend to maybe start hiding things or keeping secrets or feeling ashamed, being secretive, operating out of a viewpoint of, everyone hates me, or I can't tell anybody this truth, or whatever the case may be, right? And that tends to bring a lot of issues, more than one would even expect. Support and cute. I'm going to tell you some advice that I tell my daughter, and I will tell my sons when they get older, and it's something that I've really lived by throughout the years. And it seems very simple, but it also seems a little bit outlandish at the same time. I understand what I'm saying right now, and I understand that it's not for everybody. I like to err on the side of reality and being very practical in my decision making, and understanding that not everything is black and white. It's not every day that everyone just says, oh, this person is not good for me, so I'm not going to be with them. Wouldn't that make sense? Wouldn't that make the world go round? However, that's not the way that life works. Sometimes you love somebody and you can't let them go. Sometimes you don't love them, you don't want to be with them, but your heart is hooked. Maybe you're trauma bonded. Maybe you're just not in a position to leave right now. Nonetheless, there tends to be this thing, especially in relationships. But I always say, if you're going to be stupid, be smart about it. Now, for the sensitive ones, I'm not calling anybody stupid. What I'm saying is, if you know you're making a decision that's not smart, so whatever the opposite of smart is to you, if you're making a decision to stay even in a connection or a choice, whether it be addiction, whether it be lying, whether it be stealing, whether it be cheating, whatever, we're all humans, okay? If you make a decision that is stupid, please be smart about it. Meaning, when my daughter used to want to skip school, I would say, look, I'm not going to tell you not to skip school, because that's not realistic. You're obviously skipping school because you want to skip school. You're able to skip school. You're skipping school. What am I going to do about it, right? You're a human. You're making your own choices right now. Now, if you're going to be stupid, be smart about it. Meaning, if you're going to skip school, then at least skip on a day that a test isn't due. Skip on a day that maybe you're able to make up the work for it another day, right? Go ahead and let me know that you're skipping so that I can write you a note so that I don't get truancy, court, okay? Or that we can at least have it be an excused absence, okay? If you don't want to tell me, if you know you're going to lie to me, that you don't want to tell me that you're skipping school, forge the damn note, but turn the note in so nobody gets in trouble. Make up the work that you miss on that day. So if you're going to be stupid, be smart about it, okay? If you're going to be stealing, I don't encourage stealing. What I'm saying is, if you're going to be stealing, let's be smart about it, because stealing is stupid, right? Sometimes it's necessary, sometimes it's not, sometimes you just do dumb shit. Nonetheless, if you're going to be stupid, be smart about it. Be practical, okay? Let's look for cameras. Let's not look like we're stealing. Let's not have suspicious eyes. Let's not go somewhere where we've been caught before. Let's not be with someone who looks suspicious, or be with someone who's going to get us in trouble. Let's not have a plan, a backup plan, a getaway car, a friend that's going to pull up for us, a way to do it, whatever. Let's be smart about being stupid, okay? Let's be smart about being stupid. The biggest thing when you're in a relationship, if you are with somebody who is abusive, who is narcissistic, who is a liar, who is volatile, who can't be trusted, the easiest thing to do would just be to leave that person, right? Of course, that would be the easiest thing. But once again, that's not the way life works. 90% of people on my page, and take out the trash and baggage, 90% of people on my page, and be realistic, thank you, be realistic, are with somebody that they don't need to be with right now. They don't. Okay, I don't know what just flew in front of my face. That was wild. They're with somebody that they don't need to be with. They know they should leave, but they're not going to for right now, or ever, whatever the case may be. And what happens is they'll tend to get in a shameful state. They won't tell anybody what's going on, and they end up getting harmed in the end, or they really, really get to an isolated and depressed state. Very, very excluded from the world, and they have no support because they've now lied to everybody, or they've chosen this person over everybody, or they've lost the ability to trust themselves. If you're going to be stupid, be smart about it. Meaning, if you're going to date somebody who's not shit, at least know that you can always trust your intuition first. Never let them gaslight you to the point of you don't know who you are anymore. Never deny the truth. Never try to deflect and blame other people, or take anger out on other people, or convince yourself he's a good guy or she's a good woman, or whatever the case may be, or convince yourself it's not that bad. Don't do that. Don't start doing that. Don't start doing that. Headstrong. Yeah. You can say, yes, this person is unsafe. Yes, this person is violent. They mistreat me. They're unpredictable. I shouldn't be here, but yeah, I am. That's okay. I'm here. Maybe it's not okay. It's not okay, but I'm still here. Okay? Be practical. Be realistic. Start saying it out loud. I understand that I trust the sound of my own voice that nobody can tell me what's reality and what's not, because I know my own reality and I know what's going on here. Nobody can tell me that it's not as bad as it is. He won't be able to say that. She won't be able to say that. I trust myself. Even when I'm lying to them, saying that I believe that it's not their fault, whatever the case may be, I can let them think that I lost the connection with my own intuition, but I didn't, and I never will. When friends try to give me advice, I can say, I know he's not shit. I'm just choosing to be here. Thank you for your support. Versus, he don't say that about him, and that's how you lose connections. These people are really just telling you most of the time to help you, and you tend to deflect on them because you feel shamed and embarrassed. Nonetheless, don't lose the connection that you have with your intuition. Do not lose the sound of your own voice. Always know what it is, and don't let it get so bad that you are questioning your own worth. Always know how amazing you are. Always know how strong you are. Being in this type of situation does not make you weak. It makes you human, and it sucks sometimes, but it just is what it is. It's just the way our brains are wired. It's just the way our hearts don't agree with our brains sometimes, and I'm never here to pass judgment. And I hope that nobody on my page is, because if you're here to judge anybody, you're on the wrong page. There's people who suffer with addiction in a very dark, deep way, and it's just what it is. And with vices, it's just what it is. However, whenever they're not able to be honest about it, they tend to hide it in shame, and it gets very dark and lonely and isolating. That's how we have people ending things earlier than they should. That's how we have people getting hurt. That's how we have people being so lonely and depressed that they don't even really exist anymore in their minds. They tend to withdraw from the entire world, and that's a very dark place. Okay. I was talking to somebody one time. I actually know them very well. I'm just not going to, say names or anything like that. But they were dating somebody for several years. They were very happy. They ended up moving in together. Everything was fine. Well, one day they found paraphernalia or substance, whatever it was. They freaked out. And they were like, I need to break up with this person. I can't be with this person. Everything's over. And all of their friends were like, oh my God, girl, I'm so sorry you're going through this. And okay. I start talking to them and I say, what is it about this that makes you want to leave? What's the deal breaker part for you? Because I just like to hear all sides of the story. I just want to know. And she said, well, my dad did the same substance. I had a terrible childhood. I can't believe that he's doing that. I can't believe he was hiding it from me. I can't believe. And I said, okay, I definitely understand. How did you find out that he did this? Just because you found that item, right? Did you have any other inkling before in the whole 5 years? No. Okay. Does he act different? Does he act violent? Does he act aggressive? Does he act angry? Does he steal? Does he lie? Does he cheat? Does he whatever? Well, obviously he was omitting the truth about his addiction, right? So that would be the one lie, right? Other than that, though, he treats her great. He pays the bills. He takes care of the kids. He goes to work. He helps her around the house. He's gentle with her. He's kind with her. He's loving. They have a connection. She never would have known otherwise. Now, is it right for him to hide in shame? No, but look what happened when it got found out. So I could see why he would want to hide in shame. Some people are just addicts. Some people are high functioning. I don't support it. I don't think it's amazing. I mean, I support whatever anybody wants to do, but I'm saying I don't encourage. I'm not sitting on this app saying, do this, but honesty is always the best policy. Because of him being ashamed and because of her obviously overreacting, you could maybe understand why he didn't want to tell her. Well, she looked at me and she said, why are you asking these questions? And I said, well, I'm just wondering because have you ever considered to maybe stay with him? And she said, no, that's not an option because I found the substance. And I said, well, that's the only reason? He's not a different person? You didn't even know before. You really probably only found out because y'all just moved in together and you found it. And it made her think. And I said, if he's not doing anything bad to you, and if you never would have known otherwise, don't you think it's worth maybe still loving him and giving him a chance? Maybe setting boundaries around where he does this substance and how he does it. Okay? Not necessarily how, but where in the home. And let's put something like that. Make a plan. Do what you do. Or leave when you do it. Or don't. Whatever boundary you have. But be realistic. Because to say you must quit and that's why I'll stay with you, or I'm going to leave because you're doing this, that really sets up a lot of room for people to start lying and sneaking. And it's not that you support it. It's not that you encourage it. I mean, you support it, but you don't encourage it. But they were realistic. And her main thing was his health. She was a health freak. And she actually looked up what that substance does to him health-wise. And she came to terms with the fact that that's just what he does. He's high functioning and that's what it is. It doesn't change who he is as a person. I've always loved this person. This is actually who he's always been. She accepted him. She loved him through it. And she made sure she got his vitamins and made sure he stayed hydrated and made sure he took all of his nutrients and ate good and kind of stayed on top of his skincare and all. I mean, she was on it. That was her main thing, was his health, which I thought was fucking adorable. And that's really love in its purest form. This does not apply to people who are very violent and aggressive and angry and cheat and steal and lie and become somebody else. And I'm also not encouraging this in any way, guys. I'm being very clear about that. I just want to say that I like to be very practical and realistic about things, because when we have it set up a certain way, we do tend to create a lot of room for sneakiness and lying and shame. And when we get shame involved, that makes all the decisions for us. To operate in shame is a real dark place. That's my least favorite thing to work through. No mud, no lotus. Improvement, conquer, self-centered, and comfort. Yeah, not everything is about you. Understand that. Understand that. Don't be so naive to think that everyone's just leaving a relationship the second it turns bad, or everyone just turns into a great parent overnight, or everyone just is not an addict once somebody finds the substance, or whatever. Be realistic. So that's my advice. No mud, no lotus. Take note from the beautiful lotus which defies the mud and murky water to rise to the water surface to show its beauty. Overcome adversity by blooming where you are. Whenever I first started pulling tarot, I was still in the trap house with my friends. Swear to God, just chilling, big chilling. And I was actually pulling tarot for the plug, and he's hitting licks, and I'm telling him what his ancestors have to say. Security. Be careful not to be drawn into a false sense of security. It begins when trust has been established, and humility. Life has a funny way of teaching us humility. However, the greatest lesson to learn from our tests and trials is not to be bitter, but to be greater. And memories are to be cherished, especially fond ones of friends and family. What is a good memory that will make you smile today? Pulling tarot in a trap house made me smile. That's where I was. That was the honest me. That was who I was. And the truth is still the truth. Connection to source is still connection to source. And a drug dealer is still a human who has a soul and ancestors. And he deserved the truth too. It's your time to shine. That was my time. When my gifts came in, was my time. Of course, I would have loved to have been in a fucking beautiful Buddhist monk mansion pulling tarot, so divine. But baby, this is where I'm at right now. I'm in the bathroom at a friend's house. And I just want to get y'all this message right now. And I don't have my LED light or my phone stand, and y'all are propped up on a mirror on a hairspray bottle. But that's what it is. I'm just being honest and realistic. Not every time you're going to get the message and you're going to be your Buddhist monk. Stand your ground. Just, if you're going to be with someone dangerous, make a safety plan. Okay? Don't let them drive you anywhere where you don't have control over where you're going. Keep your phone charged. Keep a backup charger. Okay? Let somebody know your location. Honesty is always the best policy. Okay? Always remember to be honest with yourself and others. Always be honest with yourself before anyone else. Yes, it's important to be honest, but it is more important to be honest with yourself. Don't ever lose touch with yourself. Don't ever lose touch with yourself, and just understand that if you love somebody and they're in a relationship with somebody who's not safe, sure, you love them and you want to berate them and you want to degrade them and you want to tell them that it's so bad and you can't believe it. That causes a lot of separation, and should that person really get hurt and not be here anymore, would you not feel so awful? Would you not have wished that maybe even though they love yourself, even though they stay with that person, would you not have maybe had them tell you, hey, here's my location every single day. I'm going to leave my location on. Hey, they're pulling up right now. I'm going to be with them until 4 p.m. If you don't hear from me after 4 p.m., can you just check in with me? You know, maybe we extended our chill time, or maybe he's moving back in, or maybe I'm dead. Who knows? But please check in with me, and I'll let you know if you don't hear from me by 4, okay? And don't just do it when everything is going bad. Don't just call and trauma dump on when everything is bad. Every day, hey, he's coming today, or he's coming tomorrow. I'm supposed to go to his house. Be safe about it, guys, please. Make a plan, and your loved ones will either understand or they won't. But if it's not wisdom, if it's not your family, find someone who you can trust. Find a partner, a little buddy system going if you're with somebody who's abusive. It'd be perfect to say, oh my God, yeah. But the average person I heard actually takes 7 times to leave, and that's bare minimum. Some relationships last decades. It's not up for us to judge anybody who stays in these type of dynamics. If we love them, we'll just keep them safe if we can, you know? Be patient. Everybody's life is their own life. Everybody's path is their own path. Everybody's course is their own course. It's their journey. It's their life. It's their decision. It's their lesson. It's their path. All we can do is just show grace and be there for each other when we can. Don't be so judgmental. Please don't be self-centered. So that's my advice, to be very practical and realistic, and to never lose the sound of your own voice in your head. Always trust your intuition above all else, and don't ever let anybody convince you that you're anything other than completely sane of mind and you are aware of the decisions that you're making and you're honest about it. That doesn't mean you're a perfect human. That means you're an honest one, and a realistic one, and a planned ahead one, a prepared one. Okay. So I know it's unorthodox. I get it, but that's my advice. That's all I have to say. All right. Love you guys. Bye.